let's talk about that player because we got to go over the Malik Nabers talk here. Because again, this is a potential big star, not just for the Giants, but for the New York sports area as a whole, at least for the next few years. And there's a big questions you got to ask in this whole thing. Because we already know the Giants picked him. No spoiler. There's definitely no spoiler there months ago. But there was two things I was looking at in this game. This part of the program, I should say. And was Malik Nabers happy to be drafted by us? And was Malik Nabers the first choice of the Giants? So, first off, as far as Malik Nabers, I'm hearing a lot of people talk trash about the way he reacted because he didn't make eye contact, didn't sound overly excited, blah, blah, blah. People just microanalyzing these things all incorrectly, mind you. And they were basically trying to lay blame on Daniel Jones and the quarterback situation as to him not being excited to be there. And I think what they're doing is they're going back to his comments he made earlier, and they're throwing that into it, basically. They're trying to use things that aren't in the same time frame as the reason why. But use basic body language reading, psychology, understanding of people's psyche at that point. People that have dealt with the public on a regular basis that have been trained to do this kind of stuff, you kind of learn some of this stuff here, whether you have a degree or not. But here's what you got to look at. Nabers hit his face during the phone call with Schoen. He also wore glasses. He hit his face initially for the initial reaction. The glasses were on the entire time. Now, you can tell by the tone he was excited. You can clearly see by the moves I talked about there a moment ago, he doesn't necessarily like to show publicly his emotions. You can enjoy getting attention as a star receiver in this league, as a star football player, and be a showboat kind of guy at that point, which he has a little bit of showboat in it, which is fine. Yet, you can also not want people to see your raw emotions. There's two different levels of security in that regard. And I don't know if, he was maybe a very highly emotional, just didn't want people seeing that. Keep in mind that when you're in that kind of situation, you just never know how you're going to react. Maybe he was concerned he was going to tear up. You've seen plenty of people tear up when they get drafted. And I just don't think he wanted that out there. I think 100% that's what it was. I don't think he wanted his raw emotions out there publicly for everyone to see. He's okay with sharing his highlights. He's okay with sharing, his football skill to the public. But that doesn't mean he wants you guys seeing him at his most emotional. That's a huge trust thing for a lot of people. And I just think that's what it was. I think he was very emotional at the time. I think he was trying to hide his emotions from the public. And I think that's all it was. That's perfectly fine to do that. You do whatever you feel like with your own emotions. We're going a lot of Dr. Phil kind of stuff here today, but it's like you do whatever you feel comfortable doing. And if he doesn't feel comfortable showing us all his full array of emotions he was feeling at that exact moment, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We hadn't earned that right. That's his business. It's not ours. So, I said, I think he was excited. And it's pretty obvious that Schoen and Daboll were excited as well. And that whole Giants, team as a whole. We know that that Groh, the wide receivers coach, had him ranked as his top wide receiver. They already mentioned that in a prior episode. Schoen had dropped that Daboll had him ranked number one as in their wide receiver group as well. So you have people very high up, suggesting he's better than Marvin Harrison Jr. even, who was taken earlier in that draft. So this is a guy that was a good get for us. But was he our number one pick? I don't think he was. And I don't mean that they're not happy again to get him. I don't think they were not excited to have him. But I think Jayden Daniels was the guy. I really do. Just the way they were talking about him. It's like even the trade talks with the Patriots never went through fully into fruition at that point. He kind of gave up pretty early. I think, and again, we're just guessing here, just using off body language and what I think is going on based on what I saw. I think personally that if the Giants were watching the draft and all of a sudden saw Drake Maye go number 2 to the Commanders, they would have given up heaven and earth to trade with the Patriots to get Jayden Daniels. They knew they had not a shot to get the Bears pick. They were taking Caleb Williams no matter what. They knew the Commanders were not going to trade within the division. The Patriots was their one chance. And if the Patriots had gone a different route, and if the Patriots had gone with Drake Maye, I really think that the Giants would have moved heaven and earth to have Jayden Daniels be a New York Giant. And I think that's the guy that really wanted in this draft. And I'm not just saying that because that's who me and Rob Sitters are our second best quarterback there in the draft at that point. Actually, we came the best, actually, remember. I think we had
him the best.
Yeah, so like, I think some of the talk about Drake Maye that was overblown, because if the Giants really wanted Drake Maye, he'd be a Giant right now. I'm telling you guys that right now.
They would have sold the farm to get number 3.
Elliot Wolf was talking. He didn't say, no, we're not going to give up. I think we're comfortable where we're at. But if you gave us this, and it's like he threw out a situation where the Patriots would have talked about it. That tells you the Patriots weren't also sold on Drake Maye, by the way.
Correct.
And I actually heard a report today, and I apologize to you guys that I usually try to write stuff down who was giving a report there, but it was an insider that was at the Patriots camp right now, said that Drake Maye is giving them shadows of Mac Jones. So I don't think that the Giants were nearly as high as Drake Maye as people thought they were. And I think they had that discussion because if Jayden Daniels had dropped down, they would have gladly picked up those pieces in a heartbeat. Said, here you go. What do you want? 3 first-round picks? I don't care. Take them. Here you go. We're getting Jayden Daniels. I really think that's what they thought about him. They would have done whatever they had to do to get Jayden Daniels if they had a chance to do it. So
yeah,
I think in the end, if they could have gotten Drake Maye at a lower cost than what Elliot Wolf was talking about, they would have taken the deal. But I don't think that Jayden Daniels would have slipped by if they had the chance to get him with a trade. So I think Jayden Daniels was number 1. Drake Maye is a very distant number 2. But I do think Malik Nabers was their highest non-quarterback on their board.
Oh, without a doubt, yes.
Any way, shape, or form. I just think that people are making it seem like this was their top choice in their board, and there's not. This is the top non-quarterback choice they had on their board.
Top choice for their position.
Yes. And
that's something to be said.
Listen, if you got their third best quarterback on your board and you get him at pick 6, you should be, as a third best player, I should say, on your board, and you get him at pick 6, you should be happy.
You're right, but 3 quarterbacks, 3 picks.
I don't think they like Caleb Williams, honestly. The only mention they had of Caleb Williams, besides having him in briefly for the talk of the combine, was talking about how soft he was basically, and he fell apart at the end of the year, and he didn't know if he can handle the big
I don't think they hammered it home.
No, they didn't hammer it, but that's the only mention they had of him. If they
saying they knew pretty much from the get-go. They alluded to, like,
but then why waste
this
your time
episode?
talking to the kid?
Because why are you going to talk about the guy that you think that you pretty much have a lot of confidence that is going to the number 1 overall pick, and the Bears are not giving that pick up for a hell or high water?
So why talk to him if you weren't interested?
I think it was kind of formality.
I don't think they liked him either. I really don't. That's just the vibe I got.
Yeah.
And they didn't talk about him much, but the little bit they talked about him, that's the vibe I got.
I just think it was a formality thing. I think it was something like, yeah, we talked to him.
Yeah.
And that's it. We talked to him. Because, like, you pay that respect, I guess, to that who you think is going to be the overall number 1 draft pick, just in case he drops.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Probably more will come out over the next couple of years with this whole thing. It always does come out eventually, you know.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you.